Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about the flowchart. That is another way of representing the algorithm. First way we already have discussed using the pseudocode. So what is flowchart? The flowchart is defined as a diagram that shows step by step progression through a procedure or a system, especially using connecting lines and set of conventional symbols. What it means that a flowchart can be used to break big ideas into small pieces that are expressed visually. Or we can say that graphical representation of any program is called flowchart. There are some standard graphics that are used in flowchart as this graphic is called oval and it is used for start and end. The oval is used to represent the start and end of the process. Another graphic called parallelogram, input-output box. The parallelogram is used to represent the input-output process. Another graphic rectangle, process oblique instruction box. The rectangle is used to represent a process step. Arrow, directional arrow. The arrow is used to guide the viewer along the flowcharting path. Diamond graphic, decision box. The diamond symbolizes a decision that is taken. Rectangle with double struck vertical graphic. Predefined process box. The rectangle with double struck vertical edges is used to represent a predefined process step. Then circle, connector box, and also irregular shaped pentagon, off page connector box. Then let us discuss some general rules for flowcharting. All flow all boxes of the flowchart are connected with the arrows, not line. Like start graphic, start step is connected to input process through an arrow. Similarly, output process block is connected to the end point through the arrow. So this is that is all boxes of the flowchart are connected with arrows, not. The diagram shows that the flowchart symbol have an entry point on the top of the diagram with no other entry point. The exit point for all the flowchart symbol is on the bottom except for the distance symbol. The distance symbol has two exit points. These can be on the sides or the bottom and one side. The following symbol shows these things. Generally, a flowchart will flow from top to bottom, as shown in this diagram. Connectors are used to connect breaks in the flowchart. From the bottom of the page to the top of the same page. That is shown in this diagram. Or from one page to another page. Now let us see an example. How to draw a flowchart to add two numbers entered by the user. So a flowchart is given here. For getting the data and finding their sum. So using different symbol, different graphics of the flowchart, we prepare a flowchart. So for start and end, oval graphic are used, and for process, that is when we have to declare the variable and we have to find the sum of the data. So process are represented by the rectangular box. When we have to get the input output process, that is represented by the parallelogram. While reading the two data, we use the parallelogram, as well as outputting the two data, outputting the result, we use the parallelogram. So thus this example shows how to draw the flowchart to solve a problem, and that problem is nothing but to add two numbers entered by the user. Now let us take the another example. In this example, we have to draw flowchart to find a given number is even or odd. So this diagram shows the flowchart to find a given number is even or odd. Now here for start and end, oval graphics are used. Then for reading the number as it is the input process, so it is represented by the parallelogram. Then the process step, that is when we find the remainder after dividing the number by 2 to test the number is even or odd, and it is represented by the rectangular graphics. So when we find the remainder and depending on whether it is 0 or 1, so this condition is represented using the diamond graphics. Is rem equal to 0? That is if remainder equal to 0. If it is true, naturally number is even. Output is displayed, number is even. If this condition is false, then we display number is odd, and then there is an end of the process. So using how to find a number is even or odd, that steps and that algorithm is represented in using the flowchart. Now let us take another example. In this example, we have to draw the flowchart diagram to find the factorial of a number. So how to find the factorial of a number? For that one, we have to think about, and that thinking is represented in the pictorial form. So we start from the oval symbol as a used for the start point. Then read the number. Then initialize the two variable I and fact. Then we check is in I is less than or equal to n. If this condition is true, then we follow one path. If condition is false, then we follow another path. If condition is true, then we increment the value of I. That is, it is used as a counter variable, and then fact equal to fact into y, and we move again to test the condition. Now we know that to find the factorial of a number, we multiply all the number starting from the value of the number. So that logic is represented here in the pictorial form. So when that number is raised, till number is not raised, we follow this path. When number is raised and becomes more than that number, condition becomes false, and then output is displayed. So how to find the factorial of a number? That is displayed in this flowchart. Let us see another example. And in this example, we have to draw flowchart to find a given number is prime number. So a flowchart is like this one. In this flowchart, we read the number, then we initialize the variable k to 2 and check whether k is less than entered number. If this is true, then we find the remainder by using the modulo operator. Divide the number by k. If this number is divisible by k, that is if remainder is 0, then we display that it is not a prime number. Otherwise, we increment the value of k and this becomes equal to 3. Again we test the condition. If 3 is less than the number, entered number. If yes, again we test the condition. If number is divisible by 3, by comparing it, remainder equal to 0. If no, then again we increment the value of k and this time it becomes the 4. So in this way we go on incrementing the value of k and dividing the number by each value, and once we find that remainder equal to 0, that is this condition is true, then we display that n is not a prime number. If no remainder is not found to be 0, then in that condition, if at we find that k is not less than n and no remainder is not found to be 0, we display that n is a prime number. Now one more problem. Draw flowchart to find the largest among three different numbers entered by the user. Now a flowchart may be like this one. So we declare the three variables a, b and c. We read the three numbers and then we compare here if a is greater than b. If yes, then we compare a is greater than c. If yes, we print that a is the largest number. In this comparison, if no is the answer, a is not greater than b, then we compare b is greater than c. Again we find that if it is greater than true, then b is the largest number. Otherwise, here print c is the largest number. So in this way, it can be easily displayed by using the flowchart how to find the largest number among the three numbers. So at this point we end our class here. Till next class, bye and have a nice day.